Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome to Signals and Standards with Suzie, the show where we decode mixed messages, raise the bar, and serve up real talk with a side of empowerment. I'm your host, Suzie, your go-to for truth bombs, clarity, and the kind of tough love that gets you unstuck and back in the driver's seat of your life. Together, let's turn those signals into action. Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Suzie, your empowerment coach, and you're tuned into Signals and Standards. In this space, we learn to honor our boundaries, trust our intuition, and step into the fullest version of ourselves. I'm so glad you're here. Whether you're a first-time listener or part of our growing community that keeps showing up week after week. This show is about you, your growth, and those aha moments that remind you that you are not alone on this journey. We're in this together. Today's episode is a powerful one, focusing on the power of saying no and how to reclaim your time and energy. We touched on this during the people-pleasing episode, but it really needs its own focus because it's so impactful in our life. I know for so many of us, saying no doesn't come easy. It can feel uncomfortable, even guilt-ridden at times. I certainly know that from personal experience. But here's the truth. Every no you say to the things that drain you is actually a yes to your peace, your energy, and your freedom. Not easy, I know. That's what we'll unpack today. We're going to get real, have some fun, and open our eyes to what it really looks like to protect our time and well-being without all the fluff. Because here, it's about empowerment that feels good, empowerment that makes sense, and is totally doable in your real everyday life. So, let's dive in. Let's be honest. No may be a tiny word, but don't let its size fool you. It carries enormous weight. For many of us, it's tangled up in guilt, fear of disappointing someone, or even worry about being seen as cold or even selfish. That little word can feel like a heavy burden, depending on how we approach it, of course. But here's the truth. Saying no isn't rejecting someone else. In fact, it's reclaiming yourself. It's a boundary, a statement, and a surprisingly powerful act of self-respect and self-care. I've spoken a lot about how your time, your energy, and your heart are not free giveaways. You don't have to show up everywhere all the time for everyone. And yet, so many of us do, even if we don't want to, or even if we know that we shouldn't. Maybe you're the person who says yes to every friend's favor, every family obligation, or even every request at work, even when it drains you. Maybe you say yes in relationships, agreeing to plans or conversations that you don't really want because you're afraid to rock the boat. Maybe you say yes to someone because you don't want to lose the connection or feel that you can't say no. Over time, those yeses can quietly accumulate into stress, frustration, anxiety, and even resentment. Saying no is about drawing a line that protects your energy. It's saying yes to your peace, to you, and to your priorities. And that's not rejection. It's empowerment. When you honor your limits, you model self-respect for yourself and for others as well. You set the tone for how people are allowed to treat you. You say, I matter, my energy matters, and I choose where my energy goes. And here's the science backing it up. According to psychologists, learning to say no effectively protects your energy, reduces stress, and strengthens your ability to set healthy boundaries. It's not just a social skill. It's a form of self-care that has measurable mental health benefits. I remind you that no can be and is a complete sentence. You don't need to explain yourself extensively or justify your decision. A polite, honest refusal is enough. That simple permission can feel revolutionary, especially if you've spent a lifetime people pleasing. Let's put this into a metaphor. Think of your energy like a water pitcher. Every time you say yes to something you don't have space for, you pour out a bit of yourself. Eventually, that pitcher runs dry. You're left depleted, stressed, and disconnected from your own needs. Saying no is like stopping the pour and refilling your pitcher, allowing yourself to be fully present and fully capable when it matters most. Here's a real life example to make it more tangible. Imagine your week is already packed. You've been working overtime, managing family obligations, and juggling social commitments. Then someone asks you to take on just one more thing. Your automatic response might be yes. After all, it's polite, right? It's expected. Maybe you don't want to disappoint them. But this time you pause. You take a breath and say, "Thank you for thinking of me, but I can't take that on right now. I need to honor my limits today." That short, simple statement protects your time, preserves your energy, and reinforces your personal boundaries. It's not cold or unkind. It's clarity. It's respect. And yes, it is so liberating. Now, I won't sugarcoat it. Saying no can feel really uncomfortable. I get that, especially in the beginning. You might worry about conflict, about disappointing people, or about being perceived as maybe difficult. And the guilt is gut-wrenching at times. That discomfort is normal, though. It's a sign that you're stretching your self-respect muscles, kind of like when you start exercising again after a long break. Each time you practice saying no, you strengthen those boundaries and the discomfort diminishes. You'll start to notice a subtle shift. Instead of resentment and guilt building up, there's relief. Instead of stress piling on, there's freedom. And that freedom, it's addictive in the best possible way. Here's another perspective. Consider how saying no affects your relationships. Boundaries actually improve connections. They don't weaken them. When people know what you can and cannot do, they can meet you where you truly are, rather than expecting more than you can realistically give. In other words, clear boundaries make interactions more authentic, less stressful, and ultimately more rewarding. Those are the people you want in your corner because they care about you. Sometimes the most challenging part of saying no, though, isn't the no itself. It's the internal noise that builds up around it. As psychologists have written, we often live under the influence of our inner pleaser, that part of us conditioned to put other needs first out of fear of judgment, rejection, or disappointing people. Because of that, even small refusals can feel like major betrayals. Guilt, anticipated conflict, or the fear of losing connection can really paralyze us. One helpful idea is to treat resentment not as something to suppress, but as a signal, an internal alarm telling us we've ignored our own limits for too long. At the same time, we are reminded that saying no isn't just about protecting ourselves, it's about preserving authenticity, prioritizing what truly matters, and cultivating relationships built on mutual respect. Some tools psychologists suggest are noticing hesitation. You can practice assertiveness, using I statements, and offering alternatives to help us decline without guilt. This allows us to see that no becomes more than a refusal. It becomes an act of caring for ourselves. The challenge lies not only in finding the words, but in building the internal trust to use them. even in situations where saying yes feels easier or more expected. Today, look at one area in your life where you habitually say yes, something small but draining. Could be a work task, a social obligation, or even a text you feel compelled to answer immediately. Now craft a simple, kind no statement. Try one of these. I really appreciate you thinking of me, but I can't commit right now. That's not something I can take on at the moment. I need to honor my limits today. I hope you understand. Then notice the subtle changes, the relief in your body, the shift in your energy, the new respect you cultivate for yourself. You might even find that people respond with understanding because they respect your clarity. Every time you practice this, you are reinforcing a powerful truth. Your energy matters. Your limits matter, and you get to choose how to spend them. You see, saying no isn't just a mindset shift. It's a matter of mental, emotional, and physical health. When you constantly override your limits, your body keeps the score. Your nervous system stays on high alert, your cortisol spikes, and your energy drains because you're living in a constant state of performing instead of being. That's not sustainable. That's survival mode. Dr. Gabor Maté, in his powerful book, When the Body Says No, talks about how constantly ignoring your own needs or silencing your emotions can literally make you sick. He found that people who struggle to say no, especially those who take care of everyone else first, often develop stress-related illnesses. Why? Because their body becomes the one that finally says no when their mouth won't. The constant overextension, the emotional suppression, the fear of disappointing others, it doesn't just disappear. It builds up in your nervous system, your immune response, your hormones. Over time, it takes a toll and manifests in some physical way like a disability or illness. Dr. Maté calls this a disease of pleasing, a pattern that quietly eats away at your well-being. He found that many people who always put others first often pay for it later in the form of burnout, autoimmune issues, or emotional fatigue. It's really your body's way of saying, enough is enough. And in the same vein, Dr. Bessel van der Kolk explains in The Body Keeps the Score that your body remembers what your mind tries to push away. Every time you swallow your truth to keep the peace, your body stores that tension. It shows up as exhaustion, anxiety, even chronic pain or insomnia. You can't self-care your way out of a life that's constantly draining you. And as Dr. van der Kolk reminds us, your body holds those unspoken no's like weights. They show up in your shoulders and your stomach and the tightness you feel when you say yes, but you mean no. Every time you abandon your truth to avoid conflict, your body registers that as a betrayal. The real healing starts when you give yourself permission to stop performing, stop people-pleasing, and start protecting your peace. I highly recommend these two books if you're looking for a good read that talks about the impact your mental health has on your physical health. It's super interesting. So think of saying no as a life preserver. It keeps you from drowning in everyone else's expectations. It's what allows you to float, to breathe, to come back to yourself. And every no you speak is integrity. And it's a yes to peace, to balance, and alignment. It's not rejection, it's protection. Here's a reflection to sit with. Where in your life have you been saying yes where your soul is screaming no? And what might change if you finally listened? Take that in for a moment, because your boundaries aren't walls, they're your oxygen. Protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's sacred. And learning to say no with confidence is one of the most powerful forms of self-love there is. Finally, let's put this all together in a simple, repeatable idea. Saying no is not selfish. It is self-care, self-respect, and empowerment in action. It protects your well-being, strengthens your relationships, and builds your confidence, one small, brave syllable at a time. Say it with me. No. Boundaries are really beautiful in theory, of course. These invisible lines that protect your energy, your peace, even your priorities. But when we bring them into real life, they can feel anything but neat and tidy. Saying no isn't just a word. It can stir guilt, anxiety, even the fear of letting someone down, as we said. At times, it feels like walking a tightrope, right? Between kindness and self-preservation. And yet, we've been exploring every no you give is not rejection. It's a reclamation. It's a quiet but powerful reminder that your time, your energy, and of course your limits are not only valid, they're vital. Think of it this way. Each no you offer today is a gift you're giving to your future self. It's the space you create for rest, for presence, for showing up fully when it truly matters. And while it may feel uncomfortable at first, the long-term impact is freedom, clarity, and self-respect. That's worth sitting with for a moment. Welcome back, friends. I asked you to send in your questions, and I'm so grateful for the honesty and vulnerability that you've shared. Today, we're diving into real-life challenges and reclaiming your time, your energy, and your peace, and doing it in a way that feels practical, human, and empowering. These are the conversations that remind us we're not alone in our struggle to set boundaries and say no with confidence. And remember, you're always welcome to send me your questions and stories anytime at powercoachsuzie.com because your voice and your journey matter here. Okay, let's get to our first question. I feel guilty saying no to my partner when I'm exhausted, but then I'm resentful later. How do I do better? I hear you. That guilt resentment cycle, it's one of the most exhausting loops we can get stuck in. And here's the kicker. It's usually born out of love and good intentions. We say yes because we don't want to disappoint, we want to be supportive, and we want to be the good partner. But what ends up happening is that instead of showing up with love, we show up running on fumes, giving the scraps of ourselves. Over time, those scraps turn into frustration, irritation, and distance. That's certainly not intimacy. It's depletion, self-depletion. Think of your energy like a bank account. Every yes is a withdrawal. Every rest or recharge is a deposit. If you keep withdrawing without putting anything back in, you will go into overdraft. And overdrafts always come with penalties. In life, that penalty shows up as resentment, disconnection, and even burnout. And here's the aha moment. Your resentment is not really about your partner. It's about betraying yourself. The guilt of saying no is short term, but the resentment of abandoning your needs is long term and much more damaging. So how do we break the cycle? By reframing what no really means. Most people think no is a rejection, but in reality, no is a redirection. It's saying, not now, because I want to give you something better later. That's not selfish. That's actually one of the most loving, intentional things you can do. A powerful way to handle this with your partner is with both care and clarity. I love you and I want to enjoy this with you. Right now, I need to rest so I can show up fully. Can we plan for another time? Notice what's happening there. You're affirming love, you're being transparent about your needs, and you're inviting connection on better terms. That kind of honesty doesn't weaken a relationship. It strengthens trust because you're showing your partner the real you. Here's another layer. Schedule self check-ins like you would meetings and appointments. Set an alarm or build a ritual at the end of the day to ask yourself, am I giving from fullness or from emptiness? If the answer is emptiness, that's your sign to pause, because every yes from emptiness is a seed of future resentment. And resentment is like rust. It corrodes the connection slowly, silently, until one day it feels like love is gone. But really, what's gone is the habit of honoring yourself. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine your partner asks for a late night movie after you've worked a 12-hour day. If you say yes out of guilt, you're half asleep, grumpy, maybe even annoyed. Instead of quality time, you're both left with tension. But if you say no, and instead plan that movie for Friday night when you're rested and energized, that connection feels joyful, intimate, and alive even. Which option truly feeds the relationship? The no tonight or the yes later? See how powerful that shift is. And this doesn't only apply to romantic partners. If you're a parent, think about it this way. A parent who constantly sacrifices rest, joy, and self-care doesn't show up with more love. They show up with more irritability. And kids feel that. Partners feel that. Friends feel that. Saying no isn't a wall. It's a filter. It keeps out the depletion and keeps in the best version of you. One last thought. Guilt is often just a sign that you're breaking an old pattern. If you've been conditioned to believe that love equals self-sacrifice, then of course saying no feels uncomfortable. But discomfort isn't danger. It's growth. Every time you honor your needs, you're rewriting the story. You're teaching both yourself and your partner that real intimacy comes from presence, not performance. And that's the kind of love that actually lasts. Let's get to our next question. At work, I feel like I'm always saying yes to extra projects because I don't want to let my team down, but I'm stressed out all the time. How do I say no professionally without damaging my reputation? Ah, yes, the classic workplace yes trap. Many of us fall into it, especially when we care deeply about our work, our colleagues, or the impression that we make. But here is a truth that can be a real eye-opener. Saying yes all the time doesn't make you a hero. It can make you actually less effective and less productive. Overcommitting may feel like a dedication in the moment, but when you're stretched too thin, quality suffers, stress rises, and burnout becomes inevitable. Ironically, the very effort to be indispensable can make you less reliable, less present, and ultimately less respected. So how do you break free without rocking the professional boat? First, reframe your no. Saying no isn't rejection. It's a strategic, thoughtful decision that communicates professionalism and responsibility. Instead of a flat refusal, anchor your response in capacity and priorities. So say something like this. I'd love to take that on, but right now I'm at full capacity with these projects. Could we review priorities or delegate some tasks? This does three critical things. It shows you value your commitments, it respects your team's goals, and it models integrity. People often respect clear, honest communication more than silent overcommitment. Another game-changing approach is visibility and awareness. Keep running a list of your weekly projects, deadlines, and time-sensitive responsibilities, physical or digital. When new requests arrive, evaluate them against your existing workload. Ask yourself, can I genuinely deliver this without compromising quality or my well-being? Using this method transforms your no from guilt-driven avoidance into a data-driven professional decision. It's no longer personal, it's practical. Here's a real-world scenario. Imagine you're asked to cover a last-minute report while juggling 3 other major deadlines. A reactive yes might leave you exhausted, stressed, and delivering below your usual standard. Instead, you could say, I want to ensure all my current projects are completed at high standard. I'm unable to take this report on, but I can help outline it for someone else who has the capacity. See how that works? You maintain professionalism, provide constructive support, and protect your mental bandwidth all at once. That's a masterclass in thoughtful no. And here's the deeper insight. This isn't just about time management. It's about psychological sustainability. Studies show that chronic overcommitment leads to cognitive overload, decision fatigue, and it can even lower your creativity. By respecting your limits, you actually enhance your problem-solving ability, your focus, and leadership presence. Saying no strategically is not weakness. It's a secret power move. Finally, let's get real about culture. Many workplaces celebrate the overachiever who always says yes. But the quiet leaders, the ones who manage their energy, set boundaries, and deliver consistently high-quality work, they're the ones who earn lasting respect. Over time, your thoughtful no's set a precedent that encourages a healthier, more productive team culture, where boundaries are honored and excellence is sustainable. So next time the "can you take this on" comes up, pause. Assess your energy, your capacity, and your priorities. Respond with clarity, care, and confidence. That single moment of intentional refusal could save your week, preserve your performance, and even earn you more respect than another automatic yes ever would. That brings us to our third and final question. I want to say no to friends and family who keep asking for favors, but I feel like I'll hurt them or seem unkind. How do I navigate that? Boundaries with loved ones are uniquely challenging because emotions are involved. You're not just managing logistics, you're navigating love, loyalty, and even social expectations. It's normal to worry about being perceived as selfish, unkind, or even distant. But here's the profound truth. Saying no doesn't harm relationships. Unclear or inconsistent boundaries do. Your no is not a rejection. It's a guidepost that helps people understand and respect your limits. Without clarity, they may unintentionally push you past your capacity, which actually leads to resentment, exhaustion, and ultimately tension in relationships. One highly effective method is the sandwich approach. Acknowledge, assert, and affirm. For example, I really appreciate you asking me for help, and I wish I could, but I'm not able to right now. I hope you understand, and I'm still here for you in other ways. Notice what's happening here. You communicate care, honesty, and respect for both yourself and other person. It's deliberate and thoughtful, not impulsive or dismissive. It conveys, I see you, I value our relationship, and I am choosing how to engage responsibly. That combination of compassion and clarity is what transforms a boundary from potentially awkward to truly empowering. Another practical strategy is to offer partial help or alternatives if you genuinely want to support someone. For instance, if a friend asks you to help them move all day, you might respond, I can't commit to the full day, but I can help you pack boxes for an hour this weekend. You're still showing up, still contributing, but on your terms. This preserves your energy while teaching others how to anticipate and respect your limits. It's a win-win. You remain connected without burning out. Here's an important insight. Fear of hurting others often keeps us from saying no. But in reality, consistent, clear boundaries enhance relationships. They reduce resentment. They foster mutual respect, and they cultivate more authentic and sustainable connections. Over time, people will start to understand your patterns. They learn what you can offer and when you can offer it, and your interactions become calmer, more intentional, and richer in quality. Here's the most crucial takeaway here. Saying no doesn't make you unkind. It makes you human. It's an act of self-respect that protects your energy and your well-being. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Every thoughtful refusal strengthens your confidence, it clarifies your priorities, and it models healthy behavior. Every boundary you honor teaches your loved ones how to treat you and ultimately improves the quality of your relationships. Let me leave you with this reflection. The next time you hesitate to say no, pause and ask yourself, am I showing up fully or half-heartedly? Am I giving from abundance or from emptiness? Often that pause is all it takes to realize that saying no in that moment is not just okay, it's essential. Thank you for staying with me, friends. I love these questions because they remind us that boundaries and saying no aren't just abstract ideas. They're daily, real-life challenges. Whether it's with a partner, at work, or with friends, and with family, we all face moments where instincts to please, to be helpful, or to avoid conflict clash with our need for rest, clarity, and presence. And here's the truth. Even when we intellectually understand boundaries, putting them into practice can feel messy, can really feel uncomfortable and kind of scary too. As we saw in today's questions, saying no in relationships can prevent resentment and protect intimacy. In the workplace, it can preserve quality, focus, and even professionalism. And with loved ones, it can foster respect while still showing care. Each situation may feel different, but the underlying principle is the same. Honoring your limits allows you to show up fully, authentically, and sustainably. It's not about shutting people out. It's about creating space to engage in ways that are meaningful for both you and those around you. That's why the next segment is so important, my coaching moment. Here we move beyond theory and listener questions. I'll share practical, human, and actionable strategies you can implement immediately to reclaim your energy, protect your time, and show up authentically in every relationship. Welcome back, friends. I hope you enjoyed the music break and had a moment to reflect on your energy, your boundaries, and the true power of saying no. Now it's time for my coaching moment. This is where I'm here to guide you, give you practical tools, and help you step fully into your power. We're going to get hands-on, honest, and empowering so you can start reclaiming your time, your energy, and your presence in every area of your life. There's a moment a few months ago that really drove this home for me. A friend invited me to a last-minute weekend brunch with a group that I love, but I had already planned a quiet morning with my kids to recharge after a whirlwind week. My gut reaction? The automatic yes. I didn't want to disappoint anyone. But then I paused and asked myself, am I saying yes because I have the energy or because I feel obligated? That pause was everything. I realized that showing up drained would do no one any favors. Not my kids, not my friends, and certainly not myself. So I said, thank you so much for inviting me. I really need some quiet time this weekend, but I'd love to catch up one-on-one soon. And you know what happened? My friend completely understood, and we later planned a coffee date where I could truly be present and engaged. That one no didn't harm the friendship. It strengthened it. It reminded me that honoring your own needs actually creates space for more meaningful and authentic connections. Here's the truth I want you to take with you today. Saying no isn't just about the words, it's about mindset, intention, and energy. Boundaries are like invisible fences protecting your well being, but like any fence, they need care, attention, and practice. Let's break it down step by step so you can start reclaiming your time and energy today. Step number 1, a mindset shift. Before you speak, remind yourself saying no is not selfish. Various psychological studies show that boundary setting reduces stress, prevents resentment, and strengthens relationships. Think of it as a deposit into your energy bank. Each authentic no is a small investment in your health, your presence, and your ability to show up fully when it matters most. Step 2, prepare your no toolkit. Practice what makes perfect. Having a few go-to phrases helps you say no confidently without guilt. Say things like, I'd love to help, but I'm at capacity right now. Can we revisit this another time? Or, I really appreciate the invite, but I need to focus on my priorities right now. Or even, I can't commit to that, but I hope it goes well and I'm happy to support in another way. Notice how these phrases communicate care and honesty while protecting your own energy. They allow you to show up authentically without over-explaining or apologizing unnecessarily. Step number 3, context matters. Think of your personal life. Whether it's a partner, friend, or family member, your energy is the most important currency that you have. Instead of defaulting to a yes when you're drained, try, I want to be fully present with you, and right now I need some rest. Could we connect later? Or for social events, you could say, thank you for inviting me. I need some quiet time this weekend, but I'd love to catch up another day. Step number 4, in your professional life, here's some context. Work can feel trickier, but overcommitting diminishes your focus and performance. Link your no to capacity and priorities. So you could say something like, I'd love to take this on, but I'm currently managing XYZ projects. Can we prioritize, or can someone else assist? This communicates professionalism, collaboration, and honesty, all while protecting your energy and preventing burnout. Step number 5, practice. Practice with micro boundaries. Start small. Say no to minor requests, skip extra emails after hours, or politely decline low-priority social obligations. Each micro boundary builds confidence, strengthens your no muscle, and reinforces that your energy is valuable. Step number 6, reflect and reinforce. So after asserting a boundary, pause and reflect. How did it feel to honor your needs? Did it prevent stress, resentment, or exhaustion? What could you adjust next time to make your boundary even stronger or kinder or feel a little bit better? Every time you say no intentionally, acknowledge it as a win. Boundaries aren't walls. They're a declaration that your time, energy, and presence matter. And when you practice consistently, saying no becomes natural, empowering, and life-changing. Remember, every time you honor your limits, you're not just protecting yourself. You're also modeling how others should treat you, cultivating deeper connections, creating a life that feels intentional and full. Wow, friends, what a journey today. We've really dug into the power of a single word, no. We explored why it can feel uncomfortable, messy, or even scary, and why guilt, fear, and obligation often creep in. We talked about real-life scenarios at home, at work, and in social settings, where saying no can feel like a tightrope. We unpacked research-backed insights showing that boundaries reduce stress, prevent resentment, and actually strengthen relationships. We also shared practical strategies and personal stories From setting your mindset before speaking to building your no toolkit, to practicing micro boundaries and even reflecting on the outcomes. By now, I hope you can see that every no you give isn't a rejection. It's a reclaiming of your energy, your presence, and your peace. Boundaries aren't rules for others. They're acts of self-respect. They bring clarity to your relationships, freedom to your schedule, and confidence to your choices. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Each thoughtful no is proof that your time, energy, and well-being matter. And that, in turn, lays the foundation for richer, more authentic, and meaningful connections in your life. Saying no isn't the end of connection. It's the beginning of self-respect. It's how you tell the world, my energy matters. I matter. Because at the end of the day, protecting your time, your peace, and your emotional space isn't selfish. It's how you stay whole. It's how you stay well. Your no is your boundary, your balance, and your birthright. So next time you feel that tug to overextend yourself, remember, every healthy no is really a yes to a more aligned, grounded, and healthy you. Together, let's lock in this powerful reminder that we spoke about today, so it makes a real long impact after this episode ends. Here's the takeaway affirmation I want you to carry with you. Repeat after me. I honor my time. I honor my energy. I honor myself. Say it with me. I honor my time. I honor my energy. I honor myself. Again. I honor my time. I honor my energy. I honor myself. And one last time so you can write it down. I honor my time. I honor my energy. I honor myself. Let that affirmation remind you that boundaries aren't a punishment or a limitation. They're a declaration of self-respect and empowerment. Every time you choose to protect your energy, you're permitting yourself to show up fully in the areas of life that truly matter. Thank you for being here and stepping into your power with me today. I can't wait to see you next week for another empowering conversation. You can catch the replay of all my Signals and Standards shows on the podcast on all your favorite platforms. For daily inspiration and practical advice, find me on social media at Power Coach Suzie. Got questions or ideas for the show? Head to powercoachsuzie.com where you can connect with me, explore the blog, or learn more about what I do. This is Suzie signing off. Until next time, keep reading the signals and never, ever lower your standards.